What's up guys, Matt Jones here, MCJ, back with another video on Power Automate, and we're looking at SharePoint Actions, and today we're going to look at the check-in action. So what is check-in? In this modern era of collaboration and shared working on documents and things like that, check-in is in my opinion a bit of an archaic thing. It's the process of actually checking in and checking out a file. So a lot like library book, if you check out a library book, you take it away with you and then you check it back in, and then someone else could use the book. Check-in is kind of like the same thing. So you can check out a file, meaning other people can't make changes to it, then you can check it back in. There are use cases for stuff like this still. So when there's an important document and you may need to be the only one to collaborate on this document, or the only one to write this document that's in a shared location, you may want to check it out so that people can't make changes, then check it back in, and then other people can make their changes as and when they want to, rather than relying on like a track changes and things like that. So that's what it is. We're using SharePoint, so let's just jump into it. I'm in the Power Automate designer here. I'm in the new designer. I've just got a manual trigger to start my flow because we don't need to pass any information to it. And we'll hit the plus button and add an action, and we'll search SharePoint. SharePoint, spelled correctly. And then we'll wait. There we go. Click on See More when we find our SharePoint connector here, and we'll go down to Check in File. Now it's going to ask us for a few pieces of information. It's going to ask us for a site address, a library name, an ID, comments, and check-in type. And we'll go through each one of these. So site address is where you actually want this to, where you want to take the file and check it into. So we'll choose our MCJ site 1. It's our test one that we're using for this. Next, inside that site, we'll have multiple document libraries potentially. I have a couple. I have documents, which is the default one, and I've also got the MCJ document library, and that's the other one we're going to be using for this test. Next, we have to put in an ID of a file. So in the document library, there's a specific ID, and you have to type in the ID of the file in here. I don't have this at the moment, we'll go get that in a second. You could get this from another mechanism, so I'm just going to hard code it in to just show you what this action does. But you can get this from like a list records and things like that inside of, or when something else completes, you can pass the ID to it. So we're going to hard code this in, but you can get this in multiple ways. Comments, so we do need to add a comment. You can see there's a little red asterisk here, meaning it's a required field, so we're going to have to add this in. It says type comments describing what's changed in this version. So again, you can pass this in dynamically, so maybe if you have some sort of process where you are sending an email to someone with the document, and they've got to write a small paragraph about what they changed, or a small line on what they changed, or if you're using an approval sort of thing, you can do it that way. We're just trying to hard code something in. This is a comment on a YouTube video. So the comment is just going to give people an idea of what's changed in this version. And the next is actually check-in type. So we've got three options here. We've got major version, publish, minor version, draft, and overwrite this file. So these are really interesting, and I'll kind of show you what happens when we use these. So we'll choose major version for now, and I'll kind of show you what happens a little bit later on. But let's go create a file, and we'll trigger this flow. So let's go to my SharePoint site here. So this is my document library. I've got a single file in here at the moment, which is a JPEG. And what we'll do is we'll just create a new Word document. And in this Word document, what we'll do is we'll say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And we'll call the document check it out. Let's see, I may have done this earlier. So there's our document. It's all good, it's all fine there. We'll close this down and we can see it's there. We'll just hit refresh on the browser to update the name. Cool, check it in, check it out. So I've got the document, and you can see I've got the ID column here. So the ID that we're going to use for this demo is going to be 10. So that's the ID number we're going to need to put in. So there is an ID column in SharePoint. It's used as a unique identifier to identify certain records. I think they are all numeric. which kind of baffles me a little bit, but you know, say la vie, SharePoint after all, just Excel online. I'm gonna get comments about that one, aren't I? So we got check it out here, and what we'll do here is to check out a document, you can select it and you can choose the three dots, and then you go down to more down here, and then there is an option for checkout. So before you can check in, you have to check out. Again, a lot like a library book. So choose checkout, and then we'll notice something flashed up there briefly. There's a little red downwards arrow here to say you have checked out this item, which means that no one else can check out this item unless I check it back in. It does give me the option here to check it in and to discard the checkout, so I can just discard this and not check it back in, so I've not made any changes, but we're going to do this with Power Automate. So let's go over to our flow. First thing we'll do is we will update the ID, and we know that the ID is going to be number 10. Again, you can get this from you know, program it means. So once we've done that and we've got all that saved, we're going to save as draft and then publish. Let's choose publish, then test. We'll manually test this, and we'll click on test, run the flow, click done, and we can see we've got green ticks all the way down. So we can have a look at the parameters here. We can see we get a nice status code 200, means it's completed okay, and we get some information back about the headers and things like that, and then some properties as well, so we can see it's all succeeding, it's all good. Let's go take a look at our file. So back in SharePoint, we'll refresh the page. We can now see that it was last modified a few seconds ago, and that red circle with an arrow in it has disappeared. So one thing that I also did is I added in an additional column on this view for check-in comments, so you can actually see this is a comment on a YouTube video, so we can see it's worked. But what we're going to do is we click on the three dots, go down to version history, and we can see there is now a version history of this. So we can see there's a couple of initial revisions. So I guess when I started typing in the document, then I changed the name, and then we have this what we call major version, which is version 1.0. We can see when it was done. That's not the right time. I'm not recording this at 2:30 in the morning, but that's a SharePoint thing. I'm not worried about that too much right now. We can see who it's modified by. We can see the size of the file, and we can see the comment as well. So and we can see these versions, and we can go back to these versions, and that's what this version history is, and that's why like the check in, check out, and the version control is actually kind of important here. Is as we're adding files, as we're overwriting files, it's going to create this rich version history to allow us to restore an older version if we need to. So we do have a couple of buttons up here: delete all versions, delete minor versions, for instance. But yeah, we can see that this has worked, and it's gone from version 0.1 and 0.2 straight up to what we call a major version, which is version 1.0. So that's the major version. That was one of the options that we had. So let's check out the minor version then. So let's go over here. Let's go back to our flow, and we'll edit it, and we'll change this. So you can actually see, as I've done this, it's changed the check-in type to 1. If I remove that and go back to our little nice picker, we'll choose minor version here. So minor version draft, so major version was 1, minor version draft I found is 0, and we'll choose publish, and then we'll test this one out. Oh, first off, hold on, we need to check it. We need to check it out, because we can't check it in without checking it out. So let's do that. Go out to our flow, click test, let's run test, run flow, click done, and we get the green ticks again. We'll go back to our version, and we can see again, it's updated a few seconds ago. Let's check out the version history. See, this is the interesting thing. So now we have a minor version history. So we can actually see this line here, this is the currently published major version. So it's only going to show people, if they come to this document, this major version. So any changes that have been changed in the minor version is not going to show until it's published as the major version. And we can see we've got this small revision of version 1.1. So this is the minor version. So first number being the major version, the second number being the minor version. And what this kind of does is it creates a draft document. So if you have a document that is potentially public facing or company facing, and you don't necessarily want everyone to see the changes that you're making until you make it a major version, you can use this draft versioning to do this. So this creates a minor version and publishes it here. So let's take a look at the overwrite file. So click go down to more, let's check it out again once more, and we'll edit this flow and go to overwrite file. So we'll click on publish. And we'll choose test, manually test, run the flow, click done, get green ticks again, it's all good. And we'll refresh this and go back to our version history. So what this has actually done is just replace the file altogether. So you can see there is no new minor version, there is no new major version, it's not changed any of the version histories. What it's done is just replace that file. So it just said, hey, I don't want to change the major version, I don't want to change the minor version, I just want to replace the file. So that's what overwrite does. So this is interesting. So I kind of mentioned this is a little bit archaic, and I think it kind of is when you think about like modern collaboration tools where you would all work on the same document. I do think it probably still has its place, especially in those potentially public-facing documents. So be interested to know what other people think. I used this in the past. Then when modern collaboration came out, kind of stopped using this. But it's still potentially good for sort of important documents, sales documents and things like that. So let me know what you guys think. So do you still use this? If you do use this, are you going to use this action? Let me know in the comments down below. What are your use cases? Give me some shout outs for what you are using this for. Again, drop it in the comments or connect me on social media. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could give it a like, a thumbs up, all that good stuff, share it with your friends, share it with your parents, your grandparents. They all love Power Automate, obviously. And I will see you guys in the next one.